Welcome to the channel. My name is Ashley. On this channel, Ashley in Africa, I talk about doing business, living, and thriving here on the continent of Africa. It's been a minute and we're live. We're going to talk all things Africa Day, what I've been up to, what we've been up to, and what's going on with the Afrika Investors Summit. So, welcome. If you're joining the replay, welcome to YouTube. Thanks for joining as you come into the live. Please be sure to like it and let me know where you're joining from. Post a comment in the chat so I can have you greeted and let me know where you're joining from. And yeah, give me some questions. I want to see what y'all been up to. I missed y'all. It's been a lot going on. There's been so much going on, a lot of good stuff. I'm wondering, should I go live on Instagram? Let's see if I could go live on Instagram. There's a lot been going on, and I want to check in with y'all. What did y'all do for Africa Day? Is this something that you celebrate? How do you feel about Africa Day? I was doing a lot of research on my own, and there's a lot of different sentiments, right, about Africa Day and what it represents and how people feel about it. So I'm actually going to be having a conversation about the future of Africa, the future of, how we as Africans are totally responsible for that future, and what are some of the things we need to be doing, right? And how is our youth we're going to be responsible, as the youngest continent on earth. How is the youth going to be responsible? So welcome, welcome. I'm going live on Instagram and live on YouTube. Thank you for everyone coming in. What's up, sir? Yes, welcome from East London, South Africa, ATL, Simi from Paris. Sir from Durban, ready for what? From Toronto to Dias Bayene from San Diego. Wow, so awesome. Welcome to everyone. If you want to be greeted, head over to YouTube. Join us there. We're having some really interesting dialogue, and there's a lot more conversation happening here over on the YouTube channel. The link is in the stories. Hi, Sarah. Oh, it's so good to see you. I love when y'all join the lives. I'm like, been so busy, but things are good and I can't wait to update you. So please, as you join the stream, please be sure to like it. Let me know that you support the stream. Let me know where you're joining from. Say hello in the chat. We've got Patrick from Nairobi. Like, this is amazing, y'all. I just want to give gratitude, give thanks. Like, this is such a dream come true to be able to share content and value to people all around the world. And we've literally got North America, Africa, the US, Canada, Kenya. That's fantastic. That is so, so, so dope. So thank you all for joining. Let me know if you all, first question, how familiar are you with Africa Day? So I know we've got some folks on the continent that are joining the stream. How familiar are you with Africa Day? I think the folks on the continent will know, but what about folks in America, right? Where things in America, history, African history, our history from Africa is being totally, repealed, reversed, erased. But in Africa, we're celebrating Africa Day, really, and all around the world. So if you know about Africa Day, please let me know. What do you know about it? Patrick, you said, it was originally African Liberation Day. Yeah. Okay. And what does that really mean, right? What does liberation mean in the sense of Africa liberation? Nanette says, not at all, right? I honestly didn't know anything about Africa Day until I moved to the continent. I never heard of it, right? I never heard of it. What's up, Jonathan from Maryland? Be sure to like the stream as you're coming in. Yes. Tebogo, thank you. Happy Africa Day to you as well. So I wasn't familiar until I came to the continent, right? We don't really learn about African issues, African history, African geography. We don't learn that stuff where I'm from in the US. And so, um, yeah, it's been an interesting experience to understand and learn about it. And so, like our brother said, it is the original African Liberation Day. So it was actually started, I think this is the 60th anniversary or 60th celebration of Africa Day, started by the Africa Union, basically to commemorate the liberation of African countries from colonialism, right? So it was around the same time of Ghana getting its liberation, and Tanzania getting its liberation. And I don't know about all the other countries, so I don't want to speak specifically on which countries, but these dates were happening, and the Africa Union said we must celebrate this independence from our colonizers. And yeah, it's been an interesting experience since. I think I love to see it, right? I love to see the unity of the continent. It is what we need, despite what is happening, what has happened, despite a lot of the challenges, right, that do exist here on the continent. It is beautiful to see the progress and the progression and the promise of what this continent has to offer. And I think in so many ways, our job is to be very intentional about the future of the continent and understanding that we have all that we need, right? We have all that we need. Every time I try to go live on Instagram, it does a weird thing. Literally, it's like flashing. I'm just gonna cut it off, y'all. I tried. Um, so yes, there are all these things, that I think a lot of things to kind of distract us, a lot of things to essentially make us feel like everything is going wrong, everything is bad, nothing is going right. And I think there's an intention there, right? I'm not here to say that everything is perfect. I'm not here to say that there are no problems. But I am here to say that when you see countries dealing with such strife, it's not because there isn't a promise. Every breakthrough comes after a breakdown, right? And so this constant battle between power structures and those things, tend to be economic, right? And what things make up economics? Policy, politics, finance, demographics, um, you know, all of those things, where you're from, how much you make, your background. And when you're able to create opportunities for, I think, disagreement, when you're able to create friction, when you're able to separate, it's how we get controlled. So I love seeing the unity of Africa Day. I love seeing, the fact that there is intention around progress. And, I'm currently in South Africa, right? South Africa is going through its challenges. It's not rid and absent of it, but it's a beautiful country. And I will tell you this, there are more foreigners coming to this country than ever before, right? So when you are in a country where, yes, you are seeing all of the challenges, but other people are coming into the country, building, there are cranes in the sky. I mentioned this in the last video. Investment is happening. Yeah, there is some challenge. And yeah, there is some hesitation around what's next. But the reality is, this is the cradle of humankind. This is where everything originated. It is one of the most beautiful countries on earth. And there's no way the folks that want access to this country are not going to go down without, creating some challenges for the people. So that's just my synopsis of it. I know I get like mixed reviews around how I feel about South Africa, what's really going on, whether or not I have rose colored glasses. And hey, I could have rose colored glasses on. I also recognize the importance of spirituality, the importance of speaking life into, the importance of focusing, thinking, believing in what is, what will be, what can be, what we want, what we need, not necessarily what's not worked out, what is the worst case scenario, right? Because that energy invites in abundance, it invites in amazing opportunity. And so, have you ever heard that saying of like, I think it was Mother Teresa, she made a quote. She said, have a march against war and you'll never see me join, but have a march for peace and I'll be there. Right? It is very much about the intention, very much a spirit centered, heart centered thinking and thought process. Right? So that's my perspective. What do y'all think? Let me know how you feel in the comments. Make sure you are liking the stream. Welcome. We're going to be talking more about what's going on with the Afrika Investors Academy Summit. We are getting reservations and the prices are going to be going up June 1st. So 1st of June. So we've got maybe that's like a week left. Next Thursday? Yeah, a week. So if you have an interest, I'm going to be joined later on by Justa, my partner in abundance, that is planning our inaugural Afrika Investors Academy Summit in Zanzibar this August. She's going to be joining for any questions that you have. I've also got some of our registrants that are joining us. And so if you're here in the chat and you want to join in on the live stream, let me know and I'll share the link with you. I want to make sure you get invited to the chat. Welcome. Absolutely. This is my, and I think even this, Patrick, right, transform into a respected country internationally. I'd like to say that South Africa is respected internationally. There is more international investment and international people here than any other continent, any other country on the continent, right? So in Africa, there are more international expats and investors in this country of South Africa more than any other country on the continent of Africa. And I'd like to say it's debatable with other countries in the world. Okay, so even this is something to kind of shift our thinking around. Absolutely. Africa has the youngest and fastest growing population on the planet. It is, and it's, fastest growing. And so with that said, right, our youth, it's so important that we empower them, that we give them the tools, that we give them the information, that we equip them with this solution-driven mindset, right? How are they to take Africa to the next level? What is their responsibility? What are some of the things that we need to talk to the youth about? Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm actually going to be having a talk tomorrow with a bunch of young people. Super excited about it. And there's going to be, I'm so excited. Like, I can't really share where it is because it's a private speaking engagement, but I'm just thrilled to be able to speak to the youth. So let me know, what are some of the things that you think the youth of Africa needs to know, right? I think one of the biggest things is that we have everything that we need. This land is so rich, and the solutions that need to be created to support the growth of this land, to support, the acceleration of our economies here, lies in the brains and in the experience of the youth that are experiencing these challenges today, right? I don't tend to, get excited, right, about youth going abroad and studying abroad, right? One, it's really expensive. Two, it can also really be dangerous and detrimental to our African youth. There were a lot of things that happened, in the Russia-Ukraine war. And it was really unfortunate to see the African talent that was having huge challenges to get home and to get out of, that environment. And I'm not comparing said other countries to those type of war zones, but what I am saying is that with some of the top universities in the world being right here on the continent of Africa, being able to study and share and actually create like project-based learning strategies in the place where you're driving the problem solving solutions for makes so much sense, right? It makes a lot more sense than going into an environment that doesn't prioritize you, doesn't prioritize your continent, doesn't prioritize your culture, doesn't prioritize your challenges, right? So I absolutely advocate for non-traditional education or traditional education here on the continent of Africa by Africans. So yeah, let me know what is happening. Let me know what you think about the youth and what are their responsibilities. What are their responsibilities to the continent? What are some of the things that the young people, the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, what do they need to be doing? What do they need to be thinking about to make sure that Africa is the most powerful continent of the 22nd century? Let me know. All right, so let me get a like count. Can I get a like count in the chat? Let me know. Where are we? I'll wait. And Justa, send me a note when you're ready to join the chat. Oh, yay, you're there. Awesome. Okay. Papa Cheesy, empowerment. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like? Let me know. Give me a bit more. Like, let me feel it some. Let me get a like count. Do I have to go to YouTube? Somebody in the chat, give me a like count. Let me know how we're looking and what's going on. Hi, Claudia. So happy to see you. All right, I'm waiting. Let me get a like count. Oh, YouTube is so cool with this little icon that tells me to go live. All right. Like count. Oh gosh. All right. 30 likes. All right, we got 47 watching. Can we get it up to 40 likes, please? And then we're going to move forward. We've got Justa, so I don't want to keep her waiting. So come on. Tamara says, what do older people need to be doing to foster a healthy environment for these young people to grow? They can sometimes be a huge hindrance. Okay, that's an interesting perspective, Tamara. Thank you. Tobogo, this is big. Intra-trade amongst ourselves as Africans is barter trade, and also innovative entrepreneurs by creating Africa Fund Investment Bank to accelerate and sustain the continent. Absolutely. Huge advocate for intercontinental trade. I love even what we're seeing already, with different countries trading within their own currency. I think Tanzania and Uganda are trading kind of within their own currencies. You've got these regional commissions that are happening in Africa with West Africa, the South Africa SADC. I don't want to say the wrong words, and then the EAC. And so we're seeing kind of this community gathering, this grouping, this economic grouping where we're recognizing, right, yes, we need to be trading amongst each other. I think, and then the next step in that is also manufacturing, right? We need to be able to create value-added crops, with our value-add crops, being able to manufacture them and produce them and distribute them right here on the continent. But that's a huge one, Tobogo. I'm gonna screenshot that for the youth and let me know. Chaletta, thank you. She's joining us. Chaletta, let me know also if you'd like to come on and talk about your registering for the Africa Investors Academy Summit, and if you're interested in why you're so interested, like what you're most excited about for the summit, and any questions. Let me know if you want to come on, and we'll have you come on. All right. So how we doing on likes? How we doing on likes, y'all? Can we get to 40? Ooh. Can we get to 40? And y'all, this is so funny. Can we get to 40? Okay, we're almost there. I just need one more like. Let me get one more like, guys, and then we're gonna jump over to my friend and welcome her. But before that, we're gonna have a brief very brief commercial break. Welcome. So we are joined by our lovely, my co-creator in abundance for the Africa Investors Academy Summit, Justa Lujugana. Yes, more likes, please. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for getting the likes up. Because we got to 40, we were able to welcome our sis, Justa, our dada. Welcome, Karibu. You're muted. Justa, I don't know if I can unmute you. Okay,
can you hear me now? Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. Happy Africa Day.
Yes, happy Africa Day. So what do you think about Africa Day, Justa? Like, how do you feel about Africa Day? What does it mean to you?
Wow, what does Africa Day mean to me? That is a huge question. For me, as an African living in Africa, I think Africa Day should be every single day. I think Africa Day should be where you just reflect, and when that day comes along, you just want to kind of be that person to highlight, like, yes, I did it, but I did it for the continent. That is what, of course, getting like being liberated from being liberated from the foreigners, you could say, to now having like our independence. That was one of the wins, the initial win. But we always have to have wins continuously. So when somebody mentions Africa Day, I want to get ready for when May 25th comes along. It's like, what have I accomplished as far to be able to celebrate that African Day? What have I contributed towards the continent that I want to celebrate it? So with me, like, I want to find ways of how I could contribute. So when that day comes and everybody's celebrating, I could join in with my contribution, with my way of celebrating, just like how our founding fathers were able we were able to get like our independence. That was one of the wins, but we have to continue winning to be able to make the continent the way we want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to your point, I felt like Africa Day is really a reminder, right? Like a reminder of all that Africa is to be celebrated for on a daily basis, and the gratitude of how far it's come, as well as, the path, the forge ahead.
Right.
And one of the things that I think, that you're doing that's really incredible is being kind of an anchor, like an anchor in the US to sing the praises, echo the praises, show the beauty and the importance of connecting, with home, with Tanzania, with the motherland, in the way that you're doing, right? And
Correct,
so,
correct. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's exactly what I mean by yes, there's a special day where we recognize and we celebrate, but there's the continuous work that has to be done little by little that we all should take accountability to making the dream become of what we want of our continent. And when, again, it's almost like a wedding. There's a whole huge preparation for a wedding, and therefore you prepare for that one big day. So, like, what is I want to impose a question to everybody, like, what is your contribution for when that day comes? It's not like the day is not going to come. The day will always come every single year. When that day comes along, how have you contributed to actually join into the celebration? So even knowing about history, informing yourself more of what's happening, and also figuring out of ways how you could contribute, even all the way to the youth, to the adult people on the other side, where the youth could learn more about their history, find out ways what they could be able to study so they could be able to contribute to the continent in terms of career wise, all the way to then they become the investors after. But it takes like steps where you are informed and you embrace it, and after embrace it you want to figure out ways of contributing. So let me say for the youth, for example, like in the United States or anywhere else in the world, if they have never been on a continent, highly recommend for parents to be able to give that gift of getting on the continent. So I'll give you an example. The
Mhm.
study abroad program in the United States, like almost like 20 something percent of students, almost like 25% of students go to Spain, specifically Spain, to study. And when you look at like in China, that's another like 15%. And you look at any other countries, it's higher. So majority of people go to study abroad in Europe.
Mhm.
And on the continent, we only have 3% of students studying abroad going onto the continent. And the continent is huge, but only 3%. And out of that 3%, we have, and this is like a study that I kind of like was researching it back before
I love a
pre-pandemic.
study.
And when you look at the within that 3%, who is actually going? These are students who are coming from Ivy League schools, colleges that are going. So somebody from Harvard, from from NYU, from Columbia, from like all these big Ivy League schools, and also media, and also kind of like upper level. They're the ones who are going. And if you dig further, who's actually going? It's a low percentage, especially when it comes to the people who are majority on the continent who are also reflective on the side, meaning like African Americans coming onto the continent to actually study abroad. The people who are actually going, when it comes to Ivy League schools, you will find these the Facebook founders. These are the people who are like right now. They're like the owners of whatever. Those are the people who are actually going and figuring out what is the problem with the majority of people and creating a product that actually helps in terms of like creating a solution to whatever problem that is. So starting with our, like, let me say, for example, you could go to like high school. How do we create programs where they could be able to visit at least one time in the continent, so they're able to understand it and then able to foster that the education through there to also give back into the continent. So it's a whole pivot that needs to happen.
Yeah, so many things. I love that you said that. We actually had the Oprah Winfrey Morehouse scholars that visited Johannesburg, Wits University this past week. My colleagues toured them around the campus university. Of course, that wasn't a study abroad program, but I think some of the work that we're doing at the African Center for the Study of the United States is working with HBCUs on creating programs specifically for them to come and study here in Johannesburg or Cape Town, the Cape Town campus. So there's absolutely, I remember like I wanted to study abroad and the only option was Spain, the university that I went to. And so that's so important. And I think, given that you said, we all should be doing something. And so for everyone that I asked a question of what you think I should be telling the youth, I want you to ask that same question to yourself. So you have said what you think people should do. How and why? Why, number one, how can you do that thing? Right? So the thing that you've now put out there for someone else to do, if that is what's important, and if you know that that will contribute to the future economic growth of the continent of Africa, then why aren't you doing that thing? And I want to challenge you and invite you to explore how you can take action on that thing. There were a lot of great points, intercontinental trade, right? So, how can you be a part of that thing? Education about different Tamara, you talked about education about different African cultures and countries. How can you do that thing, Tamara? Um, you know, Papa Cheesy, knowing the culture and the power of our ancestors and our stories, right? How can you achieve that thing? How can you help to push that forward? If that is what we need to grow, to unite, to be empowered, I invite all of you as you're sharing this information, and even, our friends here, Chaletta, how can you do that thing? All right. And so, take some time. Of course, this is not like an easy task, and it's not meant to be, right? This is a long road. I'm not sure when we'll see the fruit of the work that we're doing. My work has been showing, the advantages of what life could look like on the continent as a mother, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, right? And I'm sharing my experience of what that looks like, trying to invite other people to the continent. So, what is your work, and how can you start that work
I mean,
today?
exactly what you said. There is so many opportunities. I don't see it as kind of like a problem, but like I see it also as the various opportunities that, hey, if you see it missing, it's like there goes a window for you to kind of do research and figure out, is it actually there? Is it missing, or am I a blind eye to it? And if it's there, how can I improve those particular services? I have there was actually a couple students who actually they're Tanzanians, but they studied in the US. And they're in the technology world. So they were working here in the US, but they saw the market was oversaturated. So they moved back to Tanzania and actually continue their company that they're doing, which is in finance, digital money, digital finance. So they kept on doing that project, went to Tanzania, and actually, when the vice president of the United States came, she was able to meet with them. But if they were in the United States, they would have never kind of like got that exclusive opportunity to do that. So sometimes it's strategically kind of like positioning yourself to be able to go even further with the various opportunities where you see it's well needed and you'll be well received. So that's the other things. There's so many opportunities.
1000%. Exactly. So it's not only are you evoking and impacting change, but there is an opportunity to get value from that, to be financially comfortable, financially successful, but you're creating impact. And I personally believe that as an entrepreneur, I like working with entrepreneurs that help other people, that create value for other people, because when you're able to have that exchange of energy, you can only expect to receive it, 20 times fold, right? And so
Right.
that's what, there's, so to your point, so many opportunities. If you can shift the mind from looking at the problem, looking at the challenge, looking at the past and what has happened, there is value in history. There is value in understanding, what has happened. And there is power in recognizing that you, as a co-creator, can create the solutions to those challenges, those problems, help people, and also see like value in it yourself, right?
But then actually, like I'll probably ask you a question. How was your journey like coming into in Africa, like your adaptation? How was it like? And even for you to even wanting to create this academy, how was your journey like when you landed? Did you have like any other like huge big ideas that you were like, you know what, when I go to Africa, I'm gonna do da, 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 whatever, whatever. And then what happened in between? And then how did you graduate to get to this point?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So my goal when I came to the continent was like, I'm gonna chill. Of course, as a researcher, I studied different economic trends. I knew that Tanzania was had one of the fastest growing economies in the world. I knew that it was, had three of the seven world wonders, and the tourism aspect was beautiful. I knew that it was, there was a great quality of life and cost of living. And from an economic lens, like I knew, oh, okay, if I decided to do something, this is a place where I could do it. At the time, I had no clue really what that would look like. But I did know that there were a ton of opportunities in agriculture. And I was honestly so burnt out from,
Mhm.
my career. I left my six-figure paying job. I was
What?
like,
The freedom you want.
let me reverse that. I was laid off and decided to not re-enter into the space because I was burnt out, right? Like I just, yeah, I was burnt out. So I came to the continent not looking to do anything but chill, right? I came for a sabbatical, and immediately, there was just so much beauty. There were so many ideas. Like I had all of these ideas. I had ideas because right before the pandemic, well, during the pandemic, everybody was like collecting house plants
Yeah.
in their homes, right? And I remember spending like $100 for like four plants. And I'm in Dar es Salaam and I'm seeing plants all over everywhere on the road. And I'm like, oh, how can I set up an export business to get plants to, to America,
Yep.
for half that? I mean, they were so
Not
affordable.
knowing the rules and the policies that come with
Not
it.
knowing not knowing anything. And then obviously, maybe probably 6 months in, I said, oh, I'm going to start a coffee business. I knew I'd worked at Red Bull for part of my career. And so I knew the beverage market and I knew the competitive landscape of coffee being like the number two, number three beverage in the world. And I
Mhm.
knew that it was a valuable crop.
In
And so
Tanzania, we have like the best coffee.
the the best. So I set up a website, I did all the things, and I was like, what? I need a license to export? What? I need a license for organic? What? I need a
Mhm.
license for
Mhm.
import? What?
Yep.
Like all of these things. And I was just like, okay, fall back. Just fall back, right? Like
Yep.
I was trying, I was going, I was going, I was going, and it was going well, but there was just a lot that I didn't know,
Yep.
and that required a lot of capital.
And that
And
happens to a lot of us. That
yeah,
literally that's what happens to, like, I think it will happen to everybody, but it's just it's a very thin layer to the whole, you should say, sandwich, where it's like you're
mhm,
learning and then you hit that moment where you're like, I'm gonna quit, and then it's like, okay, you figure it out and then you create the whole sandwich. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
hit
So
that too. I was like that too. I was like, oh shit, I'm in the middle of what? In the middle of the safari, nobody's here. Like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so then I mean, it just came to a point where I was like, all right, let me figure out what I do well. What do I do well, that I can translate? Because I was coming off of a sabbatical. I knew, okay, I know I want to create something. I don't know exactly what that is. And then when I started to think about my journey to the continent, I was watching a lot of content, honestly, on YouTube.
Mhm.
I was watching people share their experience, and there wasn't any person that I really completely resonated with that I felt was like, wow, she gets me.
Mhm.
And so then I kind of felt this obligation. And I will say that being in during that sabbatical, having that opportunity to just be creative and to think of ideas and to just really be, um, created kind of this like snowball effect of sharing value. And so first it was just sharing the content. But even though still to this day haven't, I have sold 5 kgs though. I have sold 5 kgs of coffee. I haven't sold 100 kgs of coffee, but I know how to establish a business in Tanzania. I know how to establish a business in South Africa. I know how to start a bank account, right? I know how to find and vet an attorney. I know how to find strategic partners to help me build a thing. And so as I was having this experience, I said, okay, well, if other people want to make this move to the continent and they want to build a thing, let me create a space where I can give them that value and help them through that experience and help them maybe refine their business to make sure that it culturally, is appropriate, or that they're thinking about, a different community of people, outside of the US, or they're thinking about people in the US and on the continent. And so it just turned into exactly that. Like, how can I help people that want to do this too? And how can I help people that want to do this on a bigger level? Because I do want to do this on a bigger level. So I have my business now. I'm, having events now. I want to continue to grow, and I want to grow not just in Tanzania, not just in South Africa, but all over the continent. And my goal is that I'm able to create enough value for people that want to do it with me, and then
Right.
want to be able to share that value with their communities and their colleagues, and, just, continue to be value creating machine.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the short form of it, the short and long form of it. But it's really been an amazing journey. I'm so grateful for the people that have trusted me on this journey, the people that are like, I'm with you, we're moving forward. And it's been beautiful. And we're going to be in Zanzibar in August.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
never would have thought. Never would have thought. I am never. Let me just I never would have thought we would be putting together. I would be putting together any type of experience here on the continent. But it's so exciting, again, to be doing this with you and to be doing this with people who share the vision. I think I've been
Correct.
really transparent and vulnerable here on this channel that, it wasn't a lot of my network that really understood what I was doing. A lot of them not only didn't understand, but totally disagreed. And so to have been able to create something that other people see value in and that are like, yeah, we're coming, we're kicking it, we're hanging with you, it's
Correct.
just an amazing feeling, and I'm just infinitely grateful to everyone that he is here in the chat, all of you all
Yes.
in the
Yes.
replay, and everybody, that supports, the community and is in the Africa Investors Academy. So if that sounded good and you're interested in that type of information and you want to build a business and invest in some projects, like, join us, at the Academy. Join us at the Africa Investors Academy. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about what's coming up in Zanzibar. We want you to get in before the prices go up, and flights
Oh
too,
yeah,
because
definitely. And
flights are
of course, like we are tapping into the high season, so like August, everybody is traveling. So when it comes to accommodations, they fill up very quickly, and we only have like a selected numbers of rooms that we could be able to reserve. So highly recommend for those who see value in the academy to be able to join us. And this is especially like you are like, you know what? I wanna look into like investing or like, but I don't know nothing about Africa. Like you are like you are still in a process of thinking of it like the whole continent. I have never been on the continent. I don't know nothing about the continent, but this is an opportunity to actually tap into one country, go in and actually get your feet wet. We will guide you through the whole process. We will lead you within throughout the summit. We will lead you and have guides and have everybody kind of like show you and give you like a hand where you'll be guided all the way through. So you get to understand for your first time in Africa, you get to understand what it what it's like being in Africa, and then what it is like if you're interested in investing on the continent. So it's not only for people who are like, I am ready to invest right now, but it's for those people also who are looking to say, you know what, I've never thought about even going on the continent, to even wanting to kind of like invest. So if you are within those two areas where it's like, hey, this sounds really good, I think give it a try. If anything comes out of it, if you don't even invest, you will come up with a better picture of how it is to invest in, specifically like in this case in Zanzibar. How is it like? So when you go back, you're more knowledgeable on what is it like, and you could even talk to your friends about it. Like, listen, I went to Zanzibar, and this is how I experienced it. I had a great time and everything. Although I did not invest, but I think the following year I'm gonna go and do it. So it's not like you're required to invest right now, but it's an opportunity for you to be able to see the overall. How is it like?
Exactly. And for those that will have an interest in actually making investments, if you're able to join our virtual summit, you saw our resident attorney, April Everest of the Novus Law Group. She's going to be on site. She's actually going to be presenting and moderating a couple panels, and she's going to have her team on site. So you'll be able to speak to a very informed attorney that has worked with the Zanzibar investment team. She knows folks. She's helping us build an incredible agenda and itinerary for our attendees. I mean, we are bringing in the experts, right? We're bringing in, officials, business owners, yeah, like people that have been doing this, that this is their work, this is what they do, and they want you in Zanzibar. They absolutely want you there. So if you're ready and you're ready to invest, we want you there, and we want you to get the vetted experts to be able to support that investment. And so even April, she'll tell you to get an additional opinion. And she's also, there's going to be some other folks there where you'll be able to connect and network outside of business, which will be doing 2 full days of summit meetings at a beautiful 5-star hotel in Zanzibar. Attendees, once they sign up, they will get the full agenda itinerary of where we're staying, but 5-star only accommodations. And then we're also going to be having, like Jusa said, some cultural experiences and immersions, some beautiful like yacht trips, and then even doing some site visits for people that are interested in real estate, and short-term real estate opportunities. We're going to go to places that are available now and that are actually pre-construction and post-construction ready for purchase. And for folks that are in the Investors Academy, we're actually going to have an engineering and construction team speaking to our Afrika Academy investors on Saturday. So that's separate from the summit, but he's actually also going to be somebody is planning to be there on site. They do custom builds of commercial and residential real estate. So he's going to be talking to our members on Saturday. And if you have an interest in learning more, join us in the Academy, but better yet, join us in Zanzibar. So, Justa, I want to bring on Shaletta Wilson. She is one of our guests. She's going to be joining us in Zanzibar. So I want her to talk about like her, what she's excited about and some questions that she has and why she, even just decided to join with us. So welcome, Shaletta.
I
Hi,
think
you're
you're on
muted.
mute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
And I'm
Hi.
very sorry. Where am I? I am in San Diego for work, and I'm in my hotel room, and that's why it's kind of dark.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
You look fab. You still look fab.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I am joining you guys in Zanzibar because I've always wanted to go. And I had booked a trip with a touring group called Globetrotting Sisters, right? And that's who I normally travel with. And then COVID hit, and we had to cancel that trip. So I'm going with you because there's nothing on the calendar with those guys. And I'm also looking for investment opportunities. So currently, I want to invest on the continent because I want to do my part as far as helping it grow, helping it to become whatever it's going to become. I want to help, right? And so I invest right now in a garlic farm in Rwanda. So yeah, I looked into that and they were like, yeah, agriculture here. And I was like, fine. I don't know much about farming, but I'll invest in it.
Rwanda is all green. It's super, super green. So like
Yeah.
everything grows really, really well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And my first trip was on the continent was to Kenya, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. I never saw a place so beautiful in my entire life, right? And like Ashley has done, migrated and lives over there in South Africa and I think Tanzania. I'm looking for places. I've been to Ghana, love Ghana, but I'm like, wait, before I decide 100%, let me check out this place. Let me check out that place. Let me check out this place. So I want to also live on the continent. I do have a hair care business, started that accidentally, but I've been in IT and I'm going to date myself, close to 20 years as a Linux systems engineer. And I still do that. That's why I'm in San Diego right now. And I have my business on the side. So I'm just kind of looking for opportunities and ways that I can come in and make a contribution. So like if a school is needed for technology or if they need teachers or something like that, I can come in and help there, build a school, help with whatever, right? That's why I just want to see what's available. And then the type of person I am, I'm going to go for it, right? If it works out, wonderful. Once I'm there, I don't think I'll be coming back. And I know Ashley lives here. I live in Atlanta, which is probably the best city for us to live in this country. But when I took my first step over there onto the continent, I was like, yeah, I got to live here. I got to figure out a way to get here and stay here. So, and then also like create a path for my family as well. So like if my nieces or my son or daughter want to come over later, they already have that path. They don't have to figure it out initially because I've already blazed the trail for them.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. People are giving you so much love in the chat. They're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
yes, Shalonda. I mean, all of the things. You definitely seem like a person that's like, if I see it, I'm going to go for it. Investing in a garlic farm, your own hair care line, staying in tech because that's where there's money. So you've got main your main hustle, fueling your side hustle, and you're building a bridge as well as a foundation and like that is wealth creation.
Yeah.
People talk about, building wealth, like that is exactly what you're doing. And I am so grateful that you were willing to make the investment in not only yourself and your family, but in the time that you're going to be spending with us and that you would trust me and trust us enough to put together a fantastic experience for you.
Right. And that's also another thing. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, right? Go over there and have to pave my own way as far as meeting a legit banker, meeting a legit lawyer, meeting a legit person that can sell land and all this stuff. So like if you're already over there and you know all these people, that's just one more thing that I don't have to do to start it with what I want to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Justa is like, I mean, she's the queen of Tanzania. Okay. Like she works on the royal tour. And so she's got people and friends in high places. So she is going to make sure that the right people are in the room. And she's also making sure that the experience is fantastic. What are some of the things that you're really looking forward to? And maybe what are some of the questions that you have or the things that you want to make sure that we consider as we're still kind of in that planning process?
The number one thing I'm looking forward to is the beach and chilling out for a little bit, right? And just getting the logistics on like bank accounts, right? If I still live here, I haven't migrated over there, can I have a bank account there and can I just deposit my money over there, or do I don't know, right? Those are the questions. And I have a list that's at home. I'm not at home, like I said, that of the things that I need to check off when I'm over there, right? And bank account is one of them. Looking at the investment opportunities that you guys have and seeing if it fits into what I want to do, right? Even if it's not anything that I personally want to get in and grind in, and get dirty, but, just put some money there so that it can kick off that way, and then see what else I can possibly do. Because like I said, I really love Kenya. I haven't been to Tanzania. It'll be my first time going. So looking forward to it.
Fantastic. What are some of the areas that you're interested in specifically as an investor?
I don't know. Probably, if I'm thinking about it, what the commodities are that Kenya, Tanzania has, like coffee, like you were talking about that. I was like, okay, that's, can't beat the coffee over here. It's like the best. How can I get involved in exporting it? If that's like something that we're all going to do together, how can I get involved in doing that? Because I was in Starbucks, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and they had like a pack of coffee. You know how they have the coffee from various places, and they had some from Rwanda. And I was like, nice, nice. So I bought it, but then I'm thinking, did Rwanda,
the impact of the main country, did
they benefit from what I just purchased, right? So it's all a thought. And then I also have a passion for like teaching real history, about on the continent, because I've been to Ghana, talked to lots of people in Ghana, been to Kenya, talked to lots of people in Kenya. And like, if I even asked them something like, who Shaka Zulu is? No, not at all. What? Are you kidding me? Things like that. And, did you know that Ethiopia was never colonized? What? Are you kidding me? So, when you ask the question about the youth, one of the reasons that I think that youth leave is because they don't have a sense of value where they are, right? So if they knew the value of the place, the history of the place, the struggles, and the overcoming of those struggles, and the potential that the country has, they wouldn't leave. They wouldn't leave. They'd have ideas on how to help mine cobalt, help get the diamonds out there and build their own diamond country or company, things like that. So,
yep.
You are so right. As a person who also grew up in Tanzania, like I wish we had like more kind of like when I was here in the United States, because I came here probably like middle school and high school. What I wish we have, which is there, but it's not really there for everyone. It's like kind of like these after school programs where you could be able to learn so much. Like,
oh man,
that's one thing that's it's there, but it's not like it's not like you really have to dig in to actually find it.
Right.
But I wish it could be more, or like it's in bigger cities, like let me say for example Dar es Salaam, they will have various opportunities, but like when you go in the rural areas, which I also understand why they don't have it, because everybody's focused on let me say for example agriculture, and it's like what can I be able to have to eat for the day, kind of in that sense, not all the time, but like in that sense for like majority. So how do we create this various programs where somebody comes in and invests in those particular programs as a fellow Africans, creating those opportunities where it also helps and even people's understanding is way better, besides just a foreigner coming in and they are able to dictate to us what we need to do. And then after that, it's like when they leave, it's like, okay, so what do I do with my life now? But having those you are right, looking and seeing what else other opportunities that are there that we could be able to provide the youth to be able to stay. I, for example, as a Tanzanian, came to the United States. When I went back to visit, I realized and noticed the beauty of my own country, and like actually wanting to preserve certain things, but how do I preserve it? And that's how I wanted to actually form a nonprofit organization. But then I was like, okay, for profit or doing something with social good. I learned about the social, having like a social enterprise, and so that's how I created with the tourism. It's more like giving. It's a given. It's giving and taking, or it's give and take kind of type of solution. So creating solutions where you give into your community, but also the community gives into you also at the same time. So
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So
we're excited to have you. This is gonna be
I can't
amazing.
wait
I
to
think,
hear.
yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of talks like this, because remember, we are spending almost like 16 hours, if it's not 24 hours, with each other. Because as soon as you land, of course, your hotel will be there. You have your free time, but you will have time to kind of like, if a lot of free time to kind of like think all about these questions and like get answers from different people. Just great minds coming together and taking
Right.
time out of your busy schedule to just be in this particular environment where you're fostering what is the future, how does the future look like, and how do you also take part in making that future
Right.
the way
And
you want
I
it.
was like, I was looking at one of Ashley's videos. I think uh, you were in Zanzibar. You were on the beach, and you were like, "There's opportunity here." You know, you see other people aren't afraid to come. It's like we're always scared. I'm not going over there. They're not afraid to come over here, and then you want to get mad when they're opening up all the businesses. Like so, I was like, "Yeah, she's right. I'm gonna go over there and try to hang out and see what's going on."
I mean, it never hurts to actually be curious about what are those people actually, what is out there, why are they going out there,
Yeah.
and like within that curiosity it kind of creates this pathway of like, oh my god, it's there really, I think I want to go into that, oh no, I don't want to go into that. So it's like one of those where we are lucky to have we're lucky to have like this particular opportunity here where people could be able to come and just fulfill their curiosity. And maybe if they're interested, like you said, if you're interested into actually digging deeper and tapping in deeper, then you're like, listen, thank you so much for this opportunity. I am going forth with like investing. Oh, this is not for me, but I had a great time. I enjoyed the beach and it was amazing. I enjoyed the culture. I'll come back again just for this. Or whenever
Right.
you build your villa, I
Yeah.
am coming.
You never know until you go. Never know until you go. So yeah, check it out for yourself and not listen to what other people say, because that was my first thing about Africa is like, oh, you shouldn't go over there, all this and all that. And I'm like, I live in America. It's like the most violent place ever. What are you talking about? So I said, I'm gonna go over there and check it out. And when I went, I said, man, if we only knew there'd be nobody left in America. Everybody would be over here.
Right, just like how one of the celebrities, the rappers, I think he's investing. They put it in, I saw it on Instagram. I don't know how true it is, but I saw it. He's investing almost like 35 million into building in Dar es Salaam. This is Rick Ross. He's
Oh yeah,
investing
that's true.
$35 million
Yeah, that
in
is true.
investing.
That's true.
Like, if they're coming out, if
Hmm.
people who look like us are coming out and
Hmm.
going that deep, that actually tells you something. And this is in Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is the second fastest growing city in Africa, and
Okay.
I think it's amongst the top 10 fastest growing cities in the world.
Okay.
Besides that, when you look at it as a developing country, Dar es Salaam is like developing super fast, and also Zanzibar is also follows because of tourism. So it's a win-win situation, but we have to grab it now. If
Mm-hmm.
we wait, like let me say for example,
It's gonna be seriously expensive to
yeah,
get in.
I wish I had bought my land like when I started the tourism business almost like 10 years ago, because 10 years ago it was more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, oh shit. I wish I had actually bought during the pandemic, because everybody was selling like there was nobody's business. But
Mm-hmm.
I was scared, and I was like, what am I going to do here? I don't know what I'm doing. But then after, when I came to buy my land, I was like, oh man, I wish I should have bought it during the pandemic, and I should have bought it more. And
Yes.
so the wishing thing.
But look at you now. I mean, you've got land. Like you've got land. You're about to show other people how they can access land. I need to know, because it's so, it's literally divine timing, there's divine timing. There's so many opportunities. Shaletta, we're so happy to have you joining us. Is there any other thing that maybe you have a question about, that you're concerned about, that you're not really, you know,
I think
that
did you answer the question about the bank account, or should
so I
I?
didn't, because it's a bit different in Zanzibar, excuse me, in Tanzania than South Africa. I don't know, but I also think we're absolutely looking at we're going to have somebody there on site that's going to be a banking professional that's really going to talk about this and how it can be done, because there are alternative ways to do that where you might be able to do it as a just a non-resident tourist, or you might be able to do that as a business as a business owner and creating a business. So you can definitely do it at creating a business, but it's just figuring out what works best for you. And then I will also say that we're also inviting someone in the coffee space, so that is actually creating.
He's like the Starbucks of Tanzania. You think like they're really good coffee? He is like the legit, and he talks about Arabica coffee. Like the coffee is great. That's all I have.
I wasn't sure if we could like announce that yet, because we're still waiting to like announce the full agenda, full guest list, but they've actually reached out and said that they're absolutely going to be involved. Coffee. They are a artisan coffee brand. They have spaces where they do retail, they do in-person consumer experiences, and they also distribute coffee as well. So they're doing it. They're looking for investors. They're going to be sharing some of their industry secrets, and yeah, they're going to be at the Afrika Investors Academy Summit in Zanzibar. You heard it here first.
What I would recommend, especially like if you're interested in the coffee industry, like specifically, while you wait for the trip to come along, maybe if there's any conferences that are happening in the US or anywhere you are that are related to that specific industry, so you understand it better how it works on this side. And when you come, so you are the crossing bridge. So you have a better understanding of how the coffee industry is like. And maybe, let me say, for example, if there's somebody with a cafe, or what, little on a smaller scale, somebody with a cafe, and you're like, listen, you're going to carry my coffee once I get everything set. Like, start investing your time now to do your research while you're here in whatever industry it is. Now I'm speaking of like specifically coffee and tea, maybe you could say. And then when you get there, it's like you already have a leadway. So that would be my recommendations. Just do your own research and decide.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Chaletta. Is there anything that you want to leave us with? We can't wait to see you.
That's what I was going to say. I can't wait to see you guys. I can't wait to get there. August can't get here fast enough, I tell you.
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll see you soon. Right. Look out for more emails. And let us know if you have any questions in the meantime. We're here.
We will. Definitely will. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Yay, that was so awesome. Thanks, Juice.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you. It's always good to meet people. Like this is still the process of getting there. So your trip does not start when you get on a plane. Your trip starts now as you plan the journey along, as you dream along. And when you come back, you even dream bigger dreams, because now it's very vivid. And like everybody joining in right now, you guys are all dreaming with us. And when we actually get on the ground, I'm hoping we could be able to broadcast certain things live so they're able to see like the product. And I know we will be continuing this this academy. The summit will continue maybe like in various countries, various times, that if you don't, you must join in now. But if you don't, in case you don't join in and you wait until next year or the following year, they will be going on, but you are within the beginning stages of like, you are one of the first and the only one. There will never be anybody like this going forward. So we are happy to host you guys. And like, I'm excited for this whole thing. I'm always excited when planning.
So am I. Well, thank you so much for joining, Justa. We're about to experience load shedding here in South Africa in like the next 30 minutes. So we want to see you there in Zanzibar in August. The link is here in the chat. This is like the really, really long link. But let me see if I can, where you can actually just get more information for the summit, go to ashleyinafrika.com/Investors Summit Zanzibar 2023. There's a ton of, there's a lot of information there, pricing, what's included, what's not included. And then when you go to book your spot, you'll go to that other website, which is going to give you a little bit more in depth. We're keeping the agenda specific to people that RSVP, the guest list, as well as the hotel accommodations, of course. So if you have any specific questions that are not answered on the website, you can reach out to us from the website and we'll follow up with you. If you have any questions now in the chat, please be sure to share them. For my folks in South Africa, we had a couple things I wanted to share, kind of some updates and where we're doing. If you have some quick questions, let me know. But as you know, load shedding waits for no one. And so I want to make sure I'm able to get the girls in bed and all of that before the chaos ensues. But let me know. Let me know if y'all have questions in the comments. Justa, do you have any last words and insights for our future guests for Zanzibar?
Okay, so I'm excited to see all of you guys coming into Tanzania, coming into Zanzibar specifically, and keep on doing your research. You're gonna find it. You're gonna be like, listen, I am ready to travel. I'm ready to discover, and we'll be on the other side to pick you up at the airport and kind of take you through the whole emotion. We are open. Just reach out. Yeah, that's all. Like, I could tell stories, but I'm not good at telling people what to do. You are muted.
Yeah, book your spot. So we don't have a ton left, and then the prices are going up. So August is high season. There are a lot of people that are going to be in Zanzibar in August, right? So we want to make sure that we lock down those rooms for you. We want to make sure that we're able to secure your spot, and we want to make sure that you are able to get a great ticket price to Zanzibar. So let us know if you have any questions. Can you clarify, Juice? Someone asked which island it's going to be on, and I said the main island of Zanzibar.
Unguja.
Is this right?
Yeah,
Unguja?
Unguja.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Medina gave me life. Thank you, Medina. She was like,
Pemba.
I knew it wasn't Pemba, but I was like,
it's not Pemba. No. Pemba actually is a great place to invest in. It's still developing as we go. So that's the next. It's like it's untouched.
Yes.
The blue. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Where we'll be able to share with you guys. There's so much. Let's start with the first step first.
Thank you, Medina, for getting me together because I was like, the main island.
It's the main one, yeah. It's the biggest one.
Oh, that had a name, but thank you, Medina. Sante Sana. So yeah, Bedina, are you going to be joining us in Zanzibar? We'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. We'd love to see you all. Thank you so much for joining the stream. If you're catching us on the replay, thank you for joining. Please like this video, share it with someone who would find value in it as well, and be sure to subscribe so you get updates on when we're going live again. All right, Bedina has a last question. Does Juicy book calls or meetings? Oh, she's based in Brooklyn.
Do I take calls or meetings? Yes. You could just reach out to us, and then I should be able to respond to any of your questions or anything like that. I am based in New York, in Brooklyn, but that's probably like 30% of the time, and then 70% of the time I am dedicated to being in Tanzania and doing the ground research. So yes, but I am currently in New York right now. Next week, actually it's not next week, from the 9th to the 11th, I'm going to be in Atlanta at the Black Travel Expo. So if anybody wants to meet in person who's in Atlanta, please do check out the Black Travel Expo and you'll find us there. Just in-person meetings, if anything.
Yes, that's at the gathering spot, right?
Yes, it's at the gathering spot. Correct.
Yes, my old stomping ground. Unique
Oh,
fact,
nice.
I'm a founding member of the gathering spot.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
I
we're
wanted to.
founding
I want to join
member.
the one in New York. Like, I'm excited about that.
Yes, Brian and TK are my friends. Like, I got their number. We're going to be having
What?
a conversation about Gathering Spot Africa, but I know they haven't called me because they're not ready yet, but they're going to be. And so the
Mm-hmm.
next Gathering Spot is going
It's
to be
gonna be at my villa in Zanzibar. That's where the gathering spot will be.
honestly, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Yes, thank you so much. So
No
I
problem.
just I'm gonna put Justas for Medina, but this is for people that have an interest in booking a trip, booking their summit trip, and you have questions, Medina. This is how you can get on a call with Justa for the trip. Okay, that's also on the website. Um, this is only for the trip. Don't ask Justa about no questions about buying land or how to open up a bank account, or she's not going to answer. This this is for her to be able to talk you through any questions you have for booking your trip to Zanzibar for the Africa Investors Academy Summit. Got it. And maybe if she's in Atlanta and you guys want to get together for travel to Tanzania, but not about buying lands,
Yep.
starting a
Because there's
business.
a whole other expert who will answer all those questions for you. I'll
Exactly.
be like,
So
listen,
please be
yeah.
respectful of her calendar. She is a businesswoman. She is global, and we are building on the continent. Okay. Justa, thank you so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much for everything that you do, every who you are, just all that
Thank
you
you.
are. I appreciate you so much. We'll talk again soon. Oh, Shaletta was asking, the convention in Atlanta is called what? The Black Travel Expo, right?
The Black Travel Expo, yes.
Black
So just
Travel
look it up
Expo.
online, Black Travel Expo.
Yep, at the Gathering
Yeah.
Spot Atlanta. Yep, my business was just like, I think my business is still registered there. Well, I had to change it, but
Oh, wow. Nice.
yeah,
We will
awesome.
be there in Atlanta, so I'm excited to go check out the space. It's gonna be amazing, and I'm excited to see all. Oh, I can't wait! It's a Black Travel Expo. Like you
It's
can't
gonna
go
be
wrong.
amazing.
It's like Black people talking about traveling. Like seriously,
Love
it's
it.
gonna be amazing. So
Yeah.
I will sure be able to share more about the academy with anybody who's interested
Oh,
there. Also,
yay!
to a certain point, like you said, not all details, but hey, you need to join.
Listen, give it to
Yeah,
them. Because if it
and
wasn't in Atlanta, I would be there. Because I don't.
exactly. And
Atlanta,
anybody
they
who yeah,
need
and
to
then
come.
anybody who doesn't like if they need to kind of see us, like let me say for example they need to actually see somebody in person to be able to make that purchase, I will be in Atlanta, so reach out to me if I'm in Atlanta at the Black Travel Expo. We are real people and we're gonna give you a real experience, so definitely reach out to us.
Fantastic. And Bedina says, what airport should attendees arrive into? Well, getting into Zanzibar. So the code is ZNZ, right?
Yeah,
These are the airport code, right? Airport
yeah.
code
So it's the Zanzibar
ZNZ.
International Airport, it's the Karume International Airport.
ZNZ. Z
Yep.
Nancy Z.
It's the only airport in Zanzibar, so you don't want to go anywhere
Exactly.
else as long as it says Zanzibar. And plus, we're gonna send you guys all this information once you book. We highly recommend to book your summit ticket first before you do the booking of the international flight, so we could be able to help you and guide you a little bit better. Because there's other things that you have to get, like visas and all the other questions. We'll be able to help you answer, and then you could move forward with getting your international flight.
Yep. Perfect. Thanks, Justa.
No
Have fun
problem.
in the ATL.
Yay, I can't wait.
Peace up, A-Town down. Peace out.
That is so
All
funny.
right.
All right, talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Thanks again,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.